Okay, I think we're live. Hello, and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're here with obviously the pre-match live at Shrewsbury Town and Stockport County, and we're going to react straight away to the team news actually, which has come in about 10 or 15 minutes ago. I hope everyone's doing well. Good evening to everyone, and hopefully we don't have any issues with the screen being blurry or any audio issues this time around. Team news is in, as it is 15 minutes ago. Croud starts and go. Obviously, we would have expected that. But we've seen 6 changes being made by Dave Challoner. Interestingly enough, Lewis Bates obviously still in the team, Horsfall, of course, but Jack Diamond earns a start in 11th place. Callum Camps is back in as well. Tanto Alafi, of course, down the middle. Jaden Fevrier finally gets that opportunity to play in League One. Ethan Pye, Callum Connolly, Luis Fiorini and Teo Adaramola. Now, out of that list of players which has come in, the players that surprised me the most is Connolly coming in. I know he came obviously at half-time at the weekend, but I'm surprised by him coming in because I didn't think he was particularly brilliant from what I've seen of him so far. Teo Adaramola as well was also interesting because I don't even think he was involved on the bench at the weekend. Fiorini looked off the pace when he came on, so it's interesting that he started the game. And obviously Fevrier, all for that. I think he needed to get into the team. Interested that Norwood's been dropped. Some people have said he's had a disappointing last few games. And obviously Challoner agrees with that, hence why he's been dropped to the bench. I think some interesting names on the bench, to be honest. Ibi Toure, surprises me being on the bench. Jay Mingy's back on the bench. That says that he's back to full fitness, hopefully soon. Cal Wotton dropped. I think it's the right decision. I felt like we were trying to find a way to shoehorn him into the team at the weekend against Barnsley. I don't think he had one of his best games, to be honest, in the county shirt. Louis Barry being dropped surprises me because of the goal that he got. The goal he got for us late on. He's been a player which, when things haven't gone well for us already this season, has managed to get a goal which has got us going. Even if I think back to the game where I went to, which was the Blackpool game, I don't think we were brilliant in that first half, but Louis Barry gets the first goal for us, and that gets us firing. We win the game 3-0, and we have a clean sheet. So surprising that he's been dropped. And we're just going to show a comment here. This is coming from Anonymous Internet Addict saying hello from the Croud Meadow. He's there today. I'm sure it'll be a decent atmosphere away as well. I know it's a Tuesday night, and I know it's a fair distance to go on a Tuesday night, but I'm sure we'll be well supported, and I'm sure that you'll be able to hear us wherever we are in the ground. This is what Nick's had to say. No Nick Powell in the squad. The rumours of a fallout dismissed, but surely something is amiss here. Well, we played, didn't he? There was a load of speculation about him about him having a falling out with Challoner, and then he seemed to be back into the team. Did he get a goal or two in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy? So I don't know if there is anything in that. Obviously, the fact he has played since says that there can't be a problem there. But I just don't think he's in the plans going forward. Certainly not at the moment, in the immediate future. And I know obviously Nick, will be disappointed that Powell didn't get in, looking in the squad because if I remember correctly in the match preview in the comments, he said he wanted him to start this game and bring him in. So he'll be disappointed that he's not had that opportunity to even be involved in the squad. Is interesting. This is what Danny's had to say. Open for an early one from Tance in favour of Mr. Barry. Well, I think Alafi needs to get going. To be honest, I think he's not had the start to League One that he would have wanted. It's not down necessarily to him. He's only his first start in League One at the weekend, and we didn't play particularly well in that first half. So it wasn't like there was been a load of chances being created for him that he wasn't taking. So he'll be disappointed with how it's gone so far. He's got the opportunity. It's his second start in League One this season. It's his back-to-back starts as well. He'll be confident that he can try and take that first chance, as you say. If he can get an early goal, that'll do wonders for his confidence. And I really feel in this game it's not been a great few weeks in terms of results. I said in the preview actually, if we fail to win today, I think it'd be the first time that County have failed to win in 5 league games back to back since February 2020, which is some time ago. I do think we'll win. I went with an optimistic 2-0 on the match preview. I can maybe change my stance on that. This lineup is different to what I expected it to be fair. But like I say, if we get an early goal, then I think the floodgates will open because this is a Shrewsbury side which has not started League One very well at all. They've only won once so far in League One. I think they've had 6 defeats as well. So it's not looking great for them. The only advantage they've got is that they're on home turf. And how good is that turf going to be? If the weather's anything like the rain we've had over the last few days in Stockport, I can't imagine it's going to be very good to play on, to be honest. John Higginbotham has said, yeah, what is going on with Powell? Um, cheers for the comment as well. No idea, to be honest. I think we're all sort of wondering why, why Powell hasn't been involved. Even last season when he came in, it felt like a bit of a marquee signing when he came in. We just had that second year in League Two. We bring in Nick Powell, a bit of a statement signing, and he didn't really seem to get going. Sarcevic was ahead of him in the pecking order. Callum Camps became a better midfielder than him in Challinger's eyes last season as well. These players just got ahead of him in the team, and he couldn't find his place last season. Though he obviously still played a lot of games, he didn't play as much as I think we thought he was going to. I think we thought he'd come in and be the mainstay, the mantelpiece in that team, if you like, the talisman. And he just wasn't that. He just didn't become that. He became almost a side part when we expected him to be the main feature. So I think that this season, with the players he brought in, how well we started the season with the players who were playing, it didn't involve him. I think he had an injury problem, as well. So it has been difficult for him to get in. But you'd think how difficult the results have been over the last few weeks. He would have been able to get a look in, especially over players like Fiorini, who start tonight, who just looks off the pace. And surely Powell can, if he's behind these kind of players, then what future does he have at the football club? I think a lot of Nick Powell does intrigue the fan base, because I think he's a bit like Marmite. You either love him or hate him, and I think that I'm a fan of him. I think that he's a very good footballer. I think he's someone who wants to. I think the types of moves he wants to try and pull off, he doesn't seem to have that connection with with his teammates. So I think he often gets frustrated, and maybe Challen has sort of regretted signing him. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. I want to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think County regret signing Nick Powell? And how often would he play for you, and whereabouts in the team would you have him? Because we've even seen him play deeper at times last season. Obviously, I don't think he's got the strength and physicality to hold people off the ball the same as a sort of six, but he can do it in terms of the way he can ping balls about. So we can see him play deeper at times. I don't think he's got the energy for box to box. Is he a 10? Can he play off the striker? Can he play out wide? Where do people see him? Because I've always thought of him as being a number 10, but I think he's going to struggle to have a look in this team, to be honest. This is what born in the 80s has to say. Apparently, it's about 1 hour 40 minutes, 73 miles from Stockport to Shrewsbury. The county fans in Stockport should be home before midnight. Yeah, it's still a decent trip though to on a Tuesday night, and especially when you've just done Barnsley at the weekend. So yeah, I'm sure we'll start a decent set of number of fans together, and I'm sure it'll be a good atmosphere. As I say, even if we're parked up in a corner somewhere, in one of the stands, I'm sure we'll I'm sure we'll make ourselves heard, and I'm sure that'll get that'll sort of filter down to the players and hopefully be able to inspire a win, because we are in need of that, to be honest. Danny said, I agree that Norwood has been benched. Not seen much from him at all so far. On paper, he's supposed to be a really good player. Hopefully, he can bring a bit more as the season progresses, if I can get my words out. Yeah, I mean, I think what we're seeing with Norwood, I think we're kind of seeing a little bit what we saw with Nick Powell last season. We've sort of seen Norwood come in as a player with a bit more of a higher reputation than League One, let's be fair. We've seen him play in the Premier League, we've seen him play in the Championship. We're thinking this is going to be the kind of player that's going to come in and be, like I say, a mainstay in the team. And he's had a difficult start. He's done all right in some games, but the last few games not so much. That's from watching him at the weekend, and hearing people who've watched the games before that saying he's had a difficult few weeks. A bit like I say, a bit like Nick Powell, So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Hopefully, both of those do go on to progress and add something to the team, because they'll, no doubt they'll be on decent wages between both of them, and we can't have players sat around collecting huge wages if they're not performing. So yeah, hopefully we can get a bit more out of Norwood. And to be honest, maybe watching it from the bench tonight might help him sort of read the game a little bit more, know right when he gets the opportunity to go back in, know what he needs to do better, because Challenger's obviously not happy with what he's seen over the last few games. Otherwise, he wouldn't be benched tonight. High wages and never used. Something must have gone on. I'm guessing he's talking about Nick Powell there. Yeah, like I say, a lot of people have been saying this over the last few months. Something must be going on behind the scenes with Nick Powell. We've heard rumours of what might have happened, or may, either has or hasn't happened. But the way I see it, County haven't come out and said anything. I don't know, why would they? It would only add more noise when it doesn't really help him to come out and say anything. But you'd think if there was a serious issue with a player, though, let's say he's refused to play for the club, or the Challengers refused to, ever play him again, surely we would have heard something a little bit more concrete and I don't think that has happened. I just think that he's obviously not fancied at the moment. We've got a lot of players in that position. Fiorini's one of those, and he gets to start tonight. You look at that bench as well. Norwood on the bench, maybe Nick Powell doesn't quite suit how we want to play anymore. Maybe it's kind of a signing that, like I say, we possibly regret making. Nick's just said, "Hi Robert, just tuned in. Have you covered Powell's absence? Something seriously wrong if he's not in the 18 when Fiorini starts? Yeah, it was dreadful in his cameo against Barnsley." Yeah, I just mentioned the fact actually that you said in the preview that you wanted him to start, and he's not even involved in the squad. And as you say, quite rightly, if Fiorini's starting and then Nick Powell's not even in the 18-man squad, what's going on there? Because this is a player which last season we all had high hopes for. We all thought was going to be the man to get promotion for us, and look, we did get promoted in the end, but it wasn't necessarily because Nick Powell was absolutely out of this world. There were games when he didn't even start. So it's not just this season where we've been asking what's going on with Nick Powell. It was even last season. So I'm not too sure how long's left on his contract either, to be honest. But I can't see him hanging around much longer. I think it might just be one of those where we get to January and possibly he moves on then, or if not, let's say his contract's up in the summer. I'm not sure if it is. He might have signed a 3-year deal, but if it is up in the summer, he may just move on. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's frustrating because we know there's a player in there. So who knows? It's a long season, full of surprises, and he might just get that opportunity. And if he does, he's got to take it. It's kind of what Challen was talking about, actually. I think it was in the Leyton Orient post-match where he was asked about whether or not the players are complacent, and he said, well, if any players are complacent and then they've got 10 odd players waiting to take their place, Nick Powell is one of those players. So maybe if results continue, and let's hope it doesn't, but if results do continue to be disappointing, then he'll have surely he'll get his opportunity. I don't think we're quite at the point yet when we need to panic with the lineup just yet. However, Challen has made 6 changes, and something's gone seriously wrong when you're making that many changes from a starting 11. Especially, I want to get people's thoughts on the game against Barnsley. In terms of performance and result, we'll kind of separate the two. How pleased were you with the performance in the end, and how pleased were you with the result? Because I think the result was much better than the performance for us. And going into this game, like I say, I know that we've got to respect every opposition, but Shrewsbury are 23rd in League One at the moment. They've had a poor start to the season. County would have hopes to be top half the table, potentially playoffs. If we can't win these kind of games, then maybe we need to sort of reevaluate where we're at as a football club, because we have been used to success over the last few years. I think we've got to get used to that, but maybe it's not always going to be first year with playoffs, second year promotion, just sort of leaning a bit more. But I still think we've got a squad capable enough of getting in the playoffs this season. I really do. I think, Connolly's someone who's come in, meant to have a good reputation, was at Blackpool last season. He's not looked, particularly great, but he can come good. Onyango's been a bit of an issue for me. He hasn't looked at it. Obviously, both of those. Well, Connolly comes in, but Onyango's been left out. You just wonder what's going on at the moment. You just wonder what's going on in Dave Challoner's head in terms of the selection. For this game. Biggest surprise for me, as I say, I'm really happy Jaden Fevrier is in the team. I've been calling for that for weeks. Whether or not we'll really see now, because when I've seen him come on, he's looked like a good player. He's looked like a player who's had an impact straight away. We'll now see if he's just an impact player or if he is someone who can have an impact from minute one starting the game. So that's what I'm excited to kind of put to rights tonight, is getting to see Fevrier start the game, and hopefully he starts well, and hopefully County start well. I think if County are going to start the game well, though, I think the two go hand in hand. I think Fevrier will be part of that. So I'm excited to see him start. He's definitely one of my favourite players very quickly on. Teo Adaramola, I want to see more of. He has obviously played in some games. I don't think I've watched those games. I think they were the games I missed. But I'm interested by him, obviously, on loan from Crystal Palace. I saw him in the Blackburn friendly when he was injured. So that was disappointing. Let's see what he's all about. Like I say, it's interesting he's dropped Toure as well, because he's usually one of his favourites. He, again, a bit like Nick Powell was. Some people, you either love him, some people question whether or not he's good enough. I think Ibi Toure is good enough, but like I say, it's interesting that Adaramola gets that start tonight. This is what Danny's had to say. Yeah, agreed. Febs brings impact. Glad he's starting. Yeah, like I say, I've been calling for it for weeks. That's obviously not why Challen has picked him. But I'm just saying, yeah, I've been calling for it, for weeks, and now we'll see whether or not he's just a really good impact player off the bench against tired legs, or whether or not he's a player which can have, an impact from minute one. So very excited to see, and like I say, hopefully he can have that impact early on. Um, Nick said wasn't Torre's biggest fan at times last season, but he did turn it around by the end of last season. But he seems to be the first one dropped these days. It's odd as well because we don't really have a lot of a lot of cover at left back. Even last season, we didn't have that much cover at left back. It felt like we had obviously Ethan Bristow came in on loan from Minnesota in January, but he didn't really quite get as many minutes as I think he would have hoped to have got. Um, I always felt like there was another left back last season, but there mustn't have been. In my mind, for some reason, we had another one, but when I checked it, we didn't. So yeah, but Ibao Toure very strong at left back, and surprising to see him drop. To be honest, I think it's a good lineup. To be fair, a bit shocked at Barry being left out. However, he did look like he took a knock at Barnsley. Well, he certainly didn't take a knock when he knocked it into the goal late on for us. But yeah, that's probably the biggest surprise. Like I say, he's someone which does get you goals when you need them. That showed on Saturday night. But in terms of Lou Barry's overall game, he can go missing in games. I think he still struggles with the off the ball side of the game. He's going to as well. By the way, he's a young player. His natural instinct will be to just go forward and want to score goals. And I think as he matures as a player, he'll start to focus more on the off the ball defensive side of the game. Having said that, whilst that will be a benefit to us out of possession, you will then lose a little bit of that natural instinct going forward with him. So I don't mind him sort of bursting forward and trying to cut in on that left hand side if he's going to score goals, as long as we have a cover around him to make up for that, make up for his sort of deficiencies, I suppose, defensively. Despite a solid performance at Barnsley, I worry we look vulnerable at the back and a little lightweight up front. Confident Dave Chalner will learn and quickly from these team changes. I mean, it was a solid performance, wasn't it, against Barnsley? But I don't think I was ever really thinking, even in the second half, where I thought we was a lot better. I never thought like, oh yeah, we're going to win the game here. I thought, I think I was more thinking it's not our night. It's really not going our way. We were kind of probing, but we never looked that likely to score. And even the goal we did get was a bit of luck go our way, to be honest, which we probably did deserve on the balance of things. They were not very good in the second half, Barnsley, but I do agree. We just look vulnerable. We don't look quite as assured at the back as we did maybe at the beginning of the season when we had Mingy at right back, Horsfall, Pie, and then Ibi Toure at left back. I think losing Jay Mingy has been a massive loss for us early on, and I think that goes to show just how well we recruited in the summer in terms of Jay Mingy, because we don't know what to expect when you bring in new players. But he definitely showed his quality early on, and I think he's shown his quality more when we've seen him not play than when we have seen him play. Because when we watch him play, we just think, oh, he's okay. He's not really put a foot wrong. And then when you watch the team without him, you go, okay, now we see the impact of Jay Mingy. So he's back on the bench tonight. Hopefully he can get some minutes, and hopefully he'll be back, for the game on Saturday as well against Wigan at home, because he has, like I say, maybe we took him for granted those first few weeks. Be good to get Noel back as well, some males as well. But yeah, hopefully Mingy is going to be back sooner rather than later. Maybe Barry's on the bench, as some of their players are starting to rely on him. If they know Barry is on the bench, might encourage other lads to put the pressure on. It's actually a good point that, yeah, maybe some players, and we talk about complacency, maybe some players have got complacent in the fact of, oh, don't worry, Barry will get us out of trouble, because that's what he does. And actually by taking him out the limelight and going, okay, you lads now need to go and score a goal without Barry, maybe we'll see those players shine. Hopefully we do. Like I say, Tanto Malafi, the goals he brought last season, very much been a miss so far this season. Not through his own fault. He hasn't played in League One, so he'll be determined to show Challenger that he deserves to be starting games in League One. And like I say, Wotton hasn't impressed over the last few weeks. When he was scoring goals, you couldn't leave him out, but now the goals are dried up for him. It's the perfect time to bring in Alafi, and Alafi has to take that opportunity as well. So hopefully he does. Defo gets goals, but didn't have a great game on Saturday. He gave the ball away with sloppy passes a lot. Interested to see how the lineup plays out. I'm assuming he's talking about Louis Barry there, and he does. Look, I think the best players do often give away the ball the most, because they'll try things, and if you try things, sometimes 9 times out of 10 it might not go right, but that 1 time out of 10 it goes brilliantly. Is that good enough? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is he's a quality player. He's still a young player. I think the biggest problem is he's not our player. He's only on loan, so you can forgive giving that patience to player that will make mistakes if they'll learn from it. But we're not going to see the benefit of him learning from it. So yeah, if he's making mistakes where he's giving away sloppy passes, or whatever, maybe it might be best for the team to to take him out of the equation. And like I say, Diamond needs minutes as well. I think I think that Diamond was probably signed with the idea that we were going to get Barry, and then we did bring in Barry, and it was kind of like, well, Diamond, you have to get your minutes where you can now. So maybe he's just thought, let's just bring on Barry against tired legs later on in the game. But also, Chalner wants to see, can this team perform without Barry getting us out of trouble like he did, on Saturday night. So it's a good point there, very good point. Tonight hopefully will be attack, attack, attack. You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Like I say, we can't disrespect opposition, but you would expect us with the form they've been in so far this season, Shrewsbury, the form we've been in beginning of the season, we know that we can win games in League One. We've already shown that. Yeah, we've had a difficult patch of games, results, but we've shown we can score goals. We scored quite a lot of goals early on in the season. We had clean sheets as well. Overall performances were pretty solid. So why can't we get back to that? And like I say, and like you say there, attack, attack, attack. That has to be the message going out, from the get-go tonight. It has to be. I think if we were to not win this game, I think it would be hugely disappointing. Like I say, if we were to draw this tonight, I think in terms of going into the game on Saturday, you won't be as confident as as we should be. So yeah, I think we've got to. I think we've got to win this game. I think a draw wouldn't be acceptable, really. Well, it depends on the context of the game, doesn't it? If things really don't go our way and we manage to get a point like we did, on Saturday, then you'll say fair enough. So maybe I'm being a little bit harsh when I'm saying that a draw would not be acceptable, but certainly a defeat wouldn't be acceptable. I think a defeat would be a really difficult one for the fans to take, especially those that have travelled as well. I just want to say as well, if you haven't gone to the game and you do want to watch it, it is on Sky Sports Plus as well. This is what Danny's had to say. Everyone's score predictions for tonight. Well, I went with a 2-0 one, a 2-0 score prediction in the preview. Like I say, I'll probably change my mind many times throughout the game on that. It's all about how well we start. If we start and we look convincing, you'll say, okay, well, maybe we can win this by more. Obviously, if we're up against it early on, you'll say, I'm not too sure. But I'd like to think we can get some goals. I'd like I say, a clean sheet and 2 goals, I'd be really happy with tonight, because that would show, we put the opposition away fairly comfortably with 2 goals, and it also shows that we kept a clean sheet. So that would be confidence all round. The goal scorer is the goalkeeper. That would be the perfect result, I think, for us tonight. But like I say, if we score early on, we should be able to prove their lack of confidence, the poor start they've had. Why can't we go and win that game 3 or 4-0? Why can't we kill the game? That's exactly what we need going into the game on Saturday. So hopefully we can do that. Bailey, another player who was a favourite with many supporters, yet dropped down the pecking order. Yeah, I was talking about this actually with my mate the other day, and I was saying that the amount of effort that we went through to sign Odin Bailey on a permanent in January, and then he wasn't very good actually for the second half of the season. Certainly not as good as he was in the first half of the season when he was in on loan. And then this season, it's just not been his season. He's not really had the game time. Even the game on Saturday, fans were singing his name, calling for him to come on. He didn't get a look in. So I don't know what's going on with. There are a few players which Chalner brought in over the last season that aren't getting minutes this season. You go, well, what was the plan there? Because you spent big money on him, I'm assuming, to get hold of him. It was an undisclosed fee at the time, but we would have spent big money on getting him on a transfer fee. We would have spent big money on wages for Nick Powell. These only came in last season. They're not getting minutes at the moment, and you've got to question that a little bit. What was the plan with that? Because these players aren't getting minutes, and it seems like a bit of a waste of money at the moment. If you're not going to play them, they've got the ability. They better, they'll be thinking they might as well go and play somewhere else. So yeah, not too sure what's going on with that. Now, obviously, if we're winning games of football, like the first few games of the season, we're not asking these kind of questions, because if County are winning games, we're not bothered if Odin Bailey's not playing. We're not bothered if Nick Powell's not playing, because the team's winning. We are kind of putting it under a microscope a lot more because results haven't gone well. But those issues are there to be discussed, and I think very valid questions. What is happening with Odin Bailey? What is happening with Nick Powell? And that's what I would like to. That's what I'd like someone to ask, sort of Dave Challoner, to be honest. Um, I think we kind of need an answer on that. If anyone's asking him questions after the game, there's a few questions there. What's happening with Odin Bailey? Signed last season, not really had the minutes so far this season. Is there any chance he'll have more minutes going forward over the next few weeks? Nick Powell again signed, meant to be a marquee signing last season, hasn't really had the minutes, the involvement he would have wanted so far this season. What's the long-term plan with him? That's they're two very sort of valid questions to ask the manager. Obviously, you've got to be careful how you word it. You don't want you don't want it to sort of come across the wrong way. But everyone kind of wants an answer. I've done a few of these now, and people are always asking questions. What's happening with Nick Powell? What's happening with Owen Bailey? And really, we need to find out. We need to know what's going on. And like I say, are two valid questions that could be asked of Dave Challoner post match tonight. Obviously, depending on the result, there's no point asking him what's happening with those players if we're winning 3 or 4-0. But if we lose the game, or draw the game, we can ask, well, why are these players not being involved going forward? So very valid questions to ask. Like I say, score predictions, I've gone with 2-0. I want to get some of your score predictions as well. Amazingly, we've been doing this for 25 minutes now. Just checking, we're 7:30. The game kicks off in, I think it's 7:45 kickoff. So yeah, I think we've got the comments and questions have dried up a little bit. But yeah, like I say, I am excited for the game tonight. I'm excited to see what we can do. And seeing if Tanto Laffy can get off to a goal-scoring start in League One. I'm going optimistic for 3-1. You think we'll concede a goal? Interesting. Yeah, I mean, 3-1 would be a decent result, as well. We're still 2 goals clear between the two teams, and it's 3 points, isn't it? It's moving on to the game, against Wigan on Saturday. I actually forgot we were playing tonight, to be honest, until Adam reminded me in our sort of match summary of the vlog on Saturday night. That's how much the the journey on Saturday taken out of me. I just completely forgot about Tuesday, and I was focused on Saturday. Maybe that's because I'm going Saturday. Who knows? But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to see from February, what we're going to see from Tanto Laffy. To be honest, Luis Fiorini as well. I'm excited for him because I've heard good things about him from his time at City as well. Obviously, he's looked off the pace at the moment, but hopefully there's a player in there because. Well, hopefully, because obviously we've invested in him. So, obviously for that reason alone. But yeah, I want to see players pushing others on for places. Norwood's not in the team tonight. That's an opportunity for those other midfielders to make sure that he can't get in on Saturday. If those players don't perform well, then Oliver Norwood isn't going to know he's going to be back in on Saturday. So it's all about competition for places. Anyone know what Andy Mangan said to the linesman to get a red card on Saturday? Well, no, I don't, to be honest. I wasn't even 100% sure it was him. Someone next to me thought it was Southern Hales. I definitely knew it wasn't Challoner, so I don't know what was said. Maybe the linesman said something along the lines of didn't get the move to Spain or something like that. Maybe he just reacted. I don't know, to be honest. But I mean, that's how difficult it's been. Of the last few weeks for Andy Mangan is that he should have had that move to Real Madrid, and if things had gone well for him, he'd be there by now. And instead, he's been sent off at Barnsley away. Nick said, "I love Adam on your blog. The Robin to your Batman. I'm a big fan of Batman as well. Who's going watching Joker when it comes out this weekend?" Well, I'm sure Adam will be made up with that comment. He's there today or tonight rather. And I'm sure he'll be giving me an update on what he thinks of the atmosphere. He's gone to loads of games, to be honest, over the last few seasons, and you'd fully expect him to be at Shrewsbury away on a Tuesday night. There's no doubt about that. Me on the other hand, I've got to pick my games carefully, haven't I? And it is on Sky, so I suppose it's a perfect opportunity. I will be there on Saturday at Edgley Park, though. Obviously, we'll have the vlog out as well. I think we've all sort of had a good conversation here. I think everyone's kind of got the questions that they want to get in. I've not really been able to answer some of them. I think some of these questions are perfect questions for Challoner, to be honest. But I've tried to answer them as best as possible. Let's see if he does get asked some of these questions post-match tonight. And don't forget as well, we will also be on live full time, which I've got down as 10 o'clock. It could go earlier if I've got the timings wrong. It could be slightly later if there's an absurd amount of minutes added on at the end of the game. So yeah, if everyone wants to tune into that at 10 o'clock as well, obviously we'll be there, so join us. Also, if you are new as well, do subscribe as well, like the video, of course. I'd appreciate the comments that have come in. It's always good. It really makes these streams, to be honest, without comments coming in, it'd be very difficult for me to have material to go off. So yeah, fully appreciated to everyone who's joined this pre-match live. And we will be live at full time, where hopefully Stockport County have got 3 points on the board and hopefully a few goals as well. I've gone with 2-0. Danny's gone with 3-1. Let's see what happens. Thanks for tuning in.